is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, what's happening? What's happening, everybody? Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, which means that today is actually the 98th day of 2020. And that also means that we have exactly 268 days left to make the very best of this 2020, which has been a crazy one for a lot of people. And you guys might hear me say that and think that I must be crazy or I must be oblivious to everything that's going on out there in the world. And the answer to that is a quick and easy no. I'm not oblivious. I just believe that, this is possibly the single greatest opportunity of all of our lifetimes to accelerate while the rest of the world is slowing down, to stay focused while everyone else is losing their focus, and to do the things that others don't want to do to create separation between you and your competition. This is separation season, folks. We've talked about it before. Warren Buffett has a pretty famous quote. You guys might have heard it before. It says, "You never know who is swimming naked until the tide goes out." The bad news for a lot of people, guys, is that the tide is, in fact, going out a bit, right? The good news is for those people who have been working on themselves, this is a great time. If you've been working on yourself professionally, personally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you've been training for this, right? You've been training for this. So today's topic is, what have you been cultivating? Before we get started, I ask you guys to please share this out if you could to your pages, because I think, again, I've said it a bunch of times, but I think that, this is a time when people need this the most, right? They need to hear messages like this, and you never know what you might do for someone's day if you share a message like this. You never know what you might do for somebody's life. And so today's topic, what have you been cultivating, is going to be one that touches a lot of people. So, I read a story a few days ago about how so few people in the world today are familiar with agriculture, like the actual act of planting stuff and growing it, and how that lack of knowledge just makes us super dependent on those that actually work the land and supply us with our food. So here's the catch, though, guys, is that lack of knowledge also leaves us with a huge void of knowledge when it comes to life, because how you cultivate crops is very similar to the process that it takes to improve your life or to grow yourself. I want to say good morning to some people real quick. What's happening? Brad, Sam, Ryan, Patricia, Chris, Jake, Dayton, Jared, Trisha, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Thank you for jumping on. Please, again, share this out so that a lot of people can hear this message. So that lack of knowledge leaves us with a lack of knowledge when it comes to life in a lot of ways, right? And so when you think about the crops that are grown by farmers, you probably think about what you see above the ground, right? And how those crops look to us. And, I live in Western Pennsylvania, grew up here, born and raised. So there's a lot of farms around Western Pennsylvania that, grow corn, for example. And so when I was a kid, I used to drive past these places and I used to be in awe of like how large the farms were and how far the corn went. But all I looked at was what was above the ground, right? As a kid, I never really thought about how much work went into preparing the soil to properly plant that corn. I only thought about what I could see. And so this is so true in how so many people live in today's world. It's unbelievable how people ignore the soil. They only focus on what people see or what they think people see. Think about that for a minute. They don't spend time working on their own soil. So they will sometimes pretend that they do, but they don't. So not focusing on your own soil, or even worse, pretending like you've worked on your soil to other people when in fact you haven't, it leads to serious amounts of anxiety in times like this when the tide goes out. So the good news for everybody, regardless of which scenario you are in, the good news for everybody is that can all change in an instant, right? You can start today. You can start right now, and you can change your future at any given moment that you choose. You can start working on yourself. You can start keeping the promises that you've made to yourself, and you can start moving in the direction of where you want to be instead of focusing all of your time on where you have been or even where you are right now. Because right now, people don't feel very comfortable, right? But those people who have been working on themselves, or those people that make that decision right now to look into the future, to create a new vision for their life, for themselves, for their businesses, for the people around them, those people will find comfort. They will find the motivation to keep moving forward. They will find the way to capitalize in these moments that everybody else is losing their focus, shutting their doors, closing up shop, giving up hope. Those people that create that new vision right now will be the ones that win in the future very, very soon. That future is right around the corner. When all of this stuff changes, you will see the people who have been focusing on the soil, who have been cultivating the right things for themselves. In the good book, it says, without vision, people perish. I would tell you this, guys. Work on that vision today. It doesn't matter how successful you are or how unsuccessful you have been up until today. What matters is what you decide today. If you are having a great year or you are having a great period of time in your life, then decide that you are going to increase your vision today to a new level. If you have not done the things that you know you should be doing, and you have not kept the promises to yourself, it can change in an instant, guys, just like that. It's all about the promises that you keep to yourself. And when you say you're going to do something, do you actually do it? And when you don't do it, when you fail, how do you hold yourself accountable? Do you beat yourself up, or do you dust yourself off, get back on the horse, and try it again, having learned something from that experience? But I'm telling you guys, if you do not focus on the soil of yourself, of your company, of the people around you, you cannot grow crops. And too many people want to start at the ground level, and you can't grow on top of the ground. You have to work on yourself. It starts from the inside out. Happiness is an inside job is another quote that a lot of you guys have probably heard. It is 100% true. If you are not happy on the inside, people can see it. People can sense it. What's happening, Jeff Nelson? Good morning, Bruce, Darren, Brent. What's happening, guys? Hal, good morning. Thanks for jumping on here, man. Nate Olson, what's happening, brother? Great to see you guys on here, man. I appreciate all of you guys jumping on here and listening, and I hope this is helpful for you. I know that a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now, and you know the reality is that the answers are right in front of us. The answers are taking action, creating new vision, maintaining the vision that you had before, regardless of what the tough times present. This is separation season, guys. This is where the great get better, winners win, and the people that have a losing mindset or have soil that has not been taken care of, it's when they lose. And so you have to ask yourself today, where are you in that process? Look yourself in the mirror and be honest about where you're at in that process. Because I will tell you right now that every single person that I know that is a winner, that's a champion, is looking at this situation right now. Nobody would choose it, but everybody that's a winner is going to leverage it and come out in a much better place. I promise you. If you don't believe me, Go talk to the people around you that are winners, and they will tell you exactly how they plan to win in this scenario, exactly how they plan to pivot, exactly how they plan to make the most, to create separation between them and their competition, to do better for their family, not worse. It's up to you. But it all starts with taking care of your soil. The soil is inside of you. It's in your mind. It's in your soul. It's taking care of yourself physically. It's doing all of those things that you're supposed to do all the time. And I use that quote by Warren Buffett because it's so applicable. Nobody knows who's swimming naked until the tide goes out. But when the tide goes out, you cannot hide. And that's what you have to ask yourself. Like I said, the good news is it's never too late. You can start right now, and you will be ahead of the vast majority of the world, because not a lot of people actually have the guts to do it, to stand up, push their shoulders back, and take on life head on. And that is what separates the good from the great, or the average from the exceptional. And so I want you guys to think about that today. I hope this message was helpful to you guys. If it was, please share it out. Again, I'll remind you guys, all of these messages are on YouTube. They're also on all the podcast platforms. So you guys can go to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, any of those, and catch all of these messages. This is episode 121. So there's a lot of messages in there. If you guys are newcomers to the show, you can go back and listen. There's a lot of good content back there that you can listen to. And it will definitely help you during times like this when a lot of people need it the most. So wishing you guys an incredible Tuesday. I appreciate all of you guys, especially a shout out to my folks that are in the Central Time Zone, even the West Coast Time Zone. We got some people. It's 4:45 a.m. for Jeff Nelson, and my man is dialed in here a lot of mornings. So I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the guys, Nate Olson and all you guys in the Central Time Zone, for getting up early with me here and spending the morning. I hope this helps you start your day off on a better foot than watching the news. That's for sure. So, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see you again tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. right here, same place, same time on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.